Yes, sir. Slide is
O-
visible. Yes, now it is in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So my today's topic is herbs and natural products, a promising anti-cancer agents and way to explore them. In today's topic, we will discuss about herbs and natural products a little about, and also we will discuss about a little about the basic concept of cancer and the role of cancer, that how the herbs are acting against the cancer. And after that, I will discuss about some practical parts in which we will discuss that how the anti-cancer activity of any herbs or especially the plant products can be screened. So just we'll start with my lecture summary, what we will deliver today. And I hope that most of the students are joining here and they are the bachelor, third year or fourth year. So my presentation will go with the basics. It will be not very, the presentation in the way that I am delivering to scientists, but it will be the presentation in the way that I am sharing it with the students. So many basic things we will discuss further on. So in my presentation, first of all, I will discuss about the introduction and relevance of the topic, that why we are doing this presentation. In the second part, we will discuss about the cancer and herbs, like what is cancer, what is the available treatment plan for cancer in modern world, and also we will discuss a little about the mechanism of cancer progression, and after that we will discuss about the role of herbs in cancer treatment. So this is my first part of the presentation. The second part of the presentation will be little practical based, that how we are screening the anti-cancer of herbs. In this we will discuss very little about cell lines that are usually used for the anti-cancer activity screening, and also we will discuss about the culture media that is used for anti-cancer activity. Also we will focus on the preparation of herbal sample, that how the herbal sample are prepared for the anti-cancer activity. After that, I will give a few examples of the results. As Dr. Tamboli told that one of my paper which was published in PLOS One. So just I took the examples from that paper that I will discuss here for the screening parameters, so that we can understand better that what is going on and how the results are coming. And of course, the final part will be the recap of all the lectures and what the take home message is. So this is all about my lecture summary. Hope you all will enjoy the lectures, and also hope we will get benefited from this lecture. So just we are starting with the introduction, and as we know that there is no need to introduce about that what is cancer and how means spreading, how it is spreading in the world. But just I picked up few data from the around the world, and especially from the India. If we will say in the data showed that every sixth death in the world is due to cancer. Means after the serious disease like heart attack, BP, or any the cardiovascular disease, the scientists are saying that it is the second leading cause of death after cardiovascular disease. If we'll talk about the India statics, so just yesterday I was checking the latest trend of India. In India, the latest trend came in 2019. They gathered the data of 2018, and they are saying that in India in 2018, 1.16 million of the cancer cases has been found, and until now around 2.6 million people has been affected. And in 2018, 784,000, means around 7 lakh, or we can say around 8 lakh cancer patient uh, deaths occurred. And also they are projecting that every 1 in 10 Indians will develop cancer during their lifetime. So we can just see that how the miserable and how the spreading type of situation is about to come in India in regards with the cancer. If we will talk about the type of cancer, in India, the statistics shows that in male, especially in male, oral cancer, lung cancer, stomach cancer, these three are the most prominent. In female, breast cancer and cervical cancer, these are the most prominent uh, form of cancer found in the Indian population. In 2018, 1.2 lakh of the Indian has suffered from oral cancer. Similarly, in 2018, the breast cancer affected 1.6 lakh women. So this is all about the cancer statistics in India. We'll move on that we will just see little about what is cancer. Although all we know that what is cancer, but just we will only give the basic idea that what is cancer. It is called that any abnormal growth of cells which tends to proliferate in abnormal way. We all know that the cell has some normal pattern. Cell has some normal mechanism that it is growing and it is dividing, and after some time it is going to dead or the division stops. But in the cancer case, the case is entirely changed. That the stopping of division is not happening. So the cancer continues to grow, and we all know that there are two type of this tumor are there. Benign tumor, in this abnormal cells remains at one place and it is not very dangerous. But in malignant tumor, the cancer cells spread to other area also. Suppose we got the suppose anyone is having cancer in a particular area in lungs or in the thoracic part or in the colorectal part, but if metastasize, it goes all over the body. And we know that if it is untreated, it is fatal. Just I took a picture from for comparing the normal cell and cancer cell. We can see this black part is the characteristic of cancer cell, and the red part is the characteristic of normal cell. So just I will highlight the few points that if you see the growth pattern in normal cell, the control, it is controlled and systematic. In the cancer cell, it is out of control. And in blood supply, we will see that okay, the in normal cell, it is visible to the blood supply is means in repairing case the angiogenesis occur, but in the cancer cell, the tumor angiogenesis occurs. It means that the whenever the cancer cell try to multiply, immediately there is also the blood vessels starting to generate around that cancerous cells. That becomes so miserable that it is spreading so fast. And if we will talk about the environment, then scientists say that the cancer cell is making the acidic environment in the cells, and the normal cell is around the alkaline environment. So this is about the cancer. And I will see the treatment plan nowadays which is going on. So mostly the three types of treatment which is going in these days. Number one is surgical therapy, number second is radiotherapy, and number third is chemotherapy. All we know about this, just I will give the basic idea that in surgical therapy, what is happening, the cancer cells are removed. We do just doctors are doing a surgery and it was removed from the body. It is usually if the cancer is in initial stage or very means low incidence just happen, then what doctors do, they just remove the cancer cells. In second, radiotherapy, the disease parts where the cancer happened, it was radiated, means with some radiation process, the cancer cells are killed. In chemotherapy, we have medication plan. that the treatment was done by medication. And these all are three very famous therapy. But what is the issue with that therapy is that in surgical therapy, you will see the operation is of course very tough, and the main problem occurs that the resection area may lose its functionality and shape. It is happening in so many cases. We have seen that suppose if anyone has mouth cancer and if the therapy occurs, then maybe his mouth is functioning will be lost or it will be affected. Suppose anyone have thoracic cancer, then we can see that after the cancer treatment, after the surgery, his voice get lost. So these are the problems with the surgical therapy. With the radiotherapy, the most common thing is that it has very high side effects, and since it is a charged particle, so it is affecting all around the body. And in the chemotherapy also, in the chemotherapy, the side effects is sometimes systematically produced, and also there is chances of many other side effects. And some other plans is also now newly approved treatment plan like gene therapy, immunological therapy, and immune therapy. They are also approved by the WHO. They are approved by the NIH. But these are in the initial stage. We are not going to talk detail about this therapy. These all data I took from the National Cancer Institute from the Bethesda in the USA. Now we'll move on, and we will just concise about that what is the mechanism of the cancer. Why we will discuss about the mechanism of cancer? Because when we'll discuss about the mechanism of cancer, then only we can discuss about the role of herbs in the cancer treatment. Because in all these cases we see surgical therapy, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, there is no role of any herbals, there is no role of any medicinal plant. So just we will discuss about the mechanism of cancer, and then we will discuss about the role of herbs. So what is happening in cancer? In a simple way we can say that this is normal cell, right? This normal cell, it may affected by any means like carcinogens are there, like DMPA, NNK, or any some radiation or UV radiation or any other means which even scientists don't know what is happening. The DNA structure, the gene got mutated. The gene got mutated. Although it is a normal process, it is happening in the body. But what body defense mechanism do that body start to kill these cells in normal condition. But anyhow, in some condition, this mutated gene enter into the mitotic phase. We all know that there is in cell there is a phases going on like G0 phase, growth phase, synthetic phase, and after that G1, G2, and like the mitotic phase. So what is happening that anyway this gene got mutated, and this mutated gene now got converted into the cancerous cell. This process usually, in most of the cases, it is genetic and it is irreversible. So body either it will not be reversed. So either it will be killed by the body itself or it will go in the system. So if it goes in the system, what happening? There are series of process occurs. In all this series, we can, for simple word, if we can say that in cells there are two type of mechanism. One mechanism that is the some genes are there which is called the oncogenes. The oncogenes means the genes which promotes or which initiates the cancerous activity, and there are some cancer suppression gene. What is the role of that gene? That it decreases the progression of the cells. So in mutation what is happening that the oncogene gets activated, and the tumor suppression gene it gets deactivated. So what finally happened, that the cells starting to multiply in an uncontrolled way. The oncogene activated and the tumor suppression gene got inactivated. So it started to multiply, and after that, in the final state, what is happening, that the cancer may metastasize. Metastasize means it may go to the other parts of the body, and this is the very dangerous state. So we can differentiate all these mechanism in three parts. One is initiation phase, in which there is a mutation in the genes, that is called the initiation phase. And the second phase is promotion phase, in which all the cell mechanism are on the way that cancer is progressing. And the last phase is propagation phase. So how the herbs are working, this is the main concern, which we will discuss after that. Just we see here, these are the some plants which I you can see here. Some plants are there, like curcumin are there, resveratrol is there, in the tea, green tea, there is epigallocatechin, and in the cabbage, indole is there, capsaicin is there, lycopene is there in the tomato. These herbal plants, or the constituents of herbal plants, they act on the cancerous cell in three major ways. Some herb plants are there which promote the DNA repair. If there is any mutation, they will repair it, or promote the detoxification of ROS. We all know that due to reactive oxygen species, there is chances of mutation. So they promote to detoxify the ROS. And some herbal plants, it acts on the promotion phase. And the second and the third one, also it may act on the propagation phase. So just we will discuss the few examples. So just we can see the some examples, like curcumin, very famous examples. Eugenol is there, isopropyl isothiocyanate is there. What they do, they suppress the expression of cancer survival biomarkers like ARC1 and NF-kappa and IL-6. These are the cancer survival biomarkers. Means if these markers will be present in the body, the cancer progression will start and it will go speedily. So what this curcumin and these are things doing, they are basically suppressing the expression. And also some plant products like resveratrol, they activate the tumor suppression gene. Already we discussed that there is inactivation of tumor suppression gene. So these plant products, they activate the tumor suppression gene. It means if it will be activated, the tumor will be suppressed. And some plant like 2-hydroxyflavone, what it does, it decreases the angiogenesis, means there will be no formation of the blood supply, so the cancer cell will die. So and some like quercetin, it increased the apoptosis, means the apoptosis is a programmed cell death. So this quercetin will kill the cancerous cells. So these are the mechanism by which the herbs are working against the cancer. Now just I will summarize the things which we discussed today. So we will go in the next part. What we discussed is that, we discussed about the cancer, the epidemiology we discussed about, and we have seen that, it is the abnormal growth, breast and cancer is the common in female and like the same. And also we discussed about the treatment plant, the surgical uh, therapy in which the cells are removed, the radiotherapy. In this, the affected uh, part is got irradiated in chemotherapy. We are using the some medicine for the treatment of the cancer. And also we discuss about the disease progression, that how the cancer is initiated through the DNA damage and some mutations, and how it promotes the activation of cancer survival biomarker, and inactivation of tumor suppressor gene, which basically promotes the cancer in the body. And the last case, it is metastasis occurs. And also we discuss about the role of herbs in cancer, in which we already discussed that okay, cancer herbs can be uh, used for the treatment of cancer. And also we discussed that it activates the tumor suppressor gene, and also we discussed that it increases the apoptosis. So in this first half, we all discuss about, okay, we can say that there is cancer which is vulnerable, and it needs to be eradicated from the world. And also we know that herbs can play a major role in the treatment of the cancer. So this was my first part of discussion. Now we'll move on to second part. In second part, basically it will be a more about practical approach, that how we will screen means what, how we will assess that any herbs is having anti-cancer property or is not having the anti-cancer property. So for this, before going to this screening process, I feel better to say some basics about the cell culture techniques, the basics about the sample preparation of herbs, and also some basics about the media, that what is media which is used for the anti-cancer activity. So we'll start with the culture media. As we are the most of the participants are the students of third year and fourth year, so I think they anyway they know the culture media for the antibacterial activity. We are using so many culture media for the antibacterial like E. coli and like S. typhi. We are using the media, grow agar media. We are using so many media we are using in cancer activity. In the cancer study, the media which is commonly used is called the GMEM or EMEM or DMEM media. We can see the media here. This is the red color. In red color, this is the media. Usually it is liquid, and the media usually supplemented with the antibiotics. Like in media, there are so many items are there, so many things. Usually the glucose are there, and also we are giving antibiotic. Why? Because sometimes there is chances of infection in media itself. Suppose any bacteria will grow if we leave as such. So in place of growing the cancer cell, the bacteria will grow in the petri plate. So it will be not good to assess the anti-cancer activity. So we are using penicillin, streptomycin in the combination form also. And media usually prepared, it is aseptically filtered, and it is incubated at 4 degrees centigrade. After that, uh, also we should know about something about cell lines. What is cell lines? Like in antibacterial study, we know that we have some bacteria which we are growing in the culture media. But in the case of cancer activity, we are using cell lines. These are cluster of single type of immortal cells retaining genetic makeup of nth number of cycles. What is property of cell line? That basically cell lines is the cancerous cell which has been purified, which has been filtered in a way that this cancer cells has immortal property. It means that if you grow it n times, 100 times, 1000 times, 10,000 times, it remains as such. There is no changes in their genetic makeup. So it is called the cancer cell lines. There are so many human cell lines which is used for the cancer studies, like MDA23 is used, and basically it is MDA-MB231 which is used for breast cancer study. SCT7 is used for colorectal cancer, and HeLa cell line is used. So I will see the microscope how it looks like. Yeah, this is the cell line. we can see these are all are the debris. These all are the debris. Basically, these cell lines, these are the small, which is stick to the wall of the Petri plate, or which are stick to the wall of the culture flask. We'll discuss about the culture flask later on. So these are the cancer cell lines. What is the property of this cancer cell lines? If we will grow 100 times also, suppose we will took this one cell and we will grow in the another media, it will grow, no issue. 1,000 times it will grow. So these are the cell lines. Just I will discuss few about the cell culture techniques before moving on to anti-cancer activity. How the cell culturing we are doing, just we will discuss about little and then we will go ahead. Okay. I hope you all are seeing on the screen. This is basically the cancer cells. These are the cancerous cells which were collected from the petri plates, from the culture plant. These cancer cells used to be kept in the liquid nitrogen. Before keeping in the liquid nitrogen, it should be pre-freezed at -4 degrees centigrade until 80 degrees centigrade in a very the declined manner. We can't simply freeze at liquid nitrogen. First, we have to slowly decrease the temperature, and after that, it is kept in the liquid nitrogen. Whenever we needed to grow the cancer cells, we just took out these cell lines. These are the cell lines, and we will keep it at the room temperature, 37 degrees centigrade, and simply we will keep it in the culture media. This red color which you are seeing in the petri plate, these are the culture media. Although this is not easy, as I am saying, these all things should be happened in the aseptic room. These all thing will be happen should be happened in the HEPA filter unit. There are so many formalities, but just I'm talking in a layman terms so that we can understand that what's happening. So basically this culture the cell lines is growing in this petri plate, and just you can see this is the Newborn's chamber. In 0 hours means when you started the cells, you see the very few cells are there. Okay, and the white color which you are seeing is the live cell, and some black spot, that is the dead cell. After 24 hours, what is happening, these all white cells starting growing, and it is attached to the wall of the petri plate. This is the most the interesting thing, and we should remember it, because later on when we will discuss about the anti-cancer activity, and then this concept will be useful, that all the cancer cells are not floating. This is the main thing. The cancer cells are not floating on the culture media. Instead, the cancer cell, it getting attached, it is attached to the wall of the petri plates. So this is all about the cell culture technique. And sometimes we do the subculturing. What is subculturing? All we know that if the amount of the cells, because cells started growing, and if the amount of cells increased more, then we have to make some diluted cell samples. Okay, once people are saying that it is 80 to 90% confluency. It means if we will see in the plate that 80 to 90% of the plate is covered with the cells. Now this is time to make it subcultures. Some enzymes like trypsin are used for detaching it from the petri plate, because we know that the cell culture are attached from the petri plate. So what we are doing, we are using trypsin, and trypsin detach it from the wall of the culture plate, so that we can dilute it. Means we will put it in the suppose 6 flasks. We took the cancers from 1 flask, and we put the in 6 flasks or 10 flasks, so that the cancer can grow further. So this was all about the cell culture technique, and I hope that you got a little idea and the basic idea. And later on, we will also share some PDFs. If you want to go further detail, you can see that PDF. So that's the other part. Before describing the anti-cancer activity, we'll discuss about the sample preparation for this anti-cancer activity. Yeah, because as a pharmacognosist, as a herbal scientist, we should also focus on this area. What is the usual pattern of the sample preparation is that, and it is applied for most of the analysis. We are taking crude herbs like herbs, medicinal plants, anything, or and we are extracting the constituents. We know that either we are using soxalate, it is mostly used, or if there is oily constituents, then we are using the Clevenger apparatus. And it depends, we all know that it depends, that whatever the constituents present, whatever the types of constituents, accordingly we will select the extraction process. In some cases we need oil, in some cases we need the crude extract. Also the other factor, like some constituents will be dissolved in the ethanol, then we will use the ethanolic extract. Some constituents will dissolve in the acetone. Some oily things will dissolve in the petroleum ether. And if you want to take the whole extract, usually people are using the aqueous ethanolic extract also. See, it all depends on the herbs. We extract it and we do the, we are starting with the extract preparation. And this extract preparation is used for the cancer, anti-cancer activity. And in anti-cancer activity, what we are doing that we are simply dissolving it in the culture media, and we can do the assess the anti-cancer activity of any sample. The things which I used that we will discuss today with the example, the moringa extract that I used for the anti-cancer activity. What I did before, that we took the moringa leaf also, bark also, and the seed. Three part of moringa we took. And for every part, we made a ethanolic extract of the leaf, bark, and seed. And after that we took two concentration of each leaf, because there is a requirement, and it is also justifying that at least you should start with the two or three different concentration for assessing anything, because in one concentration how you can assess. So we took the 250 microgram per ml of each extract, and 500 microgram, means for each extract we took the two different concentration. So total 6 concentration we took for the study. Now in the later slide we will just discuss about the results also, and also in the result section we will discuss about that how we are doing, as we already passed 40 minutes. So just we will go with some examples. Okay, in anti-cancer screening of herbs, three parameters basically we are checking. What is one is phenotypic changes. Phenotypic changes means we are assessing the cancer cell morphologically, we can say, like motility means whether cells are moving or not, and also colonogenic assay means whether the cells are multiplying in the forms of colonies or not. These are the phenotypic changes. And some cellular changes means inside cells we can assess the apoptosis assay, that whether and cell viability assay, cell cycle assay. And the third one is molecular changes. We are assessing some biomarkers also. So just I will go with the one example with the all, so that we can understand it better. Okay, measuring phenotypic changes. Motility assay. What is motility assay? Just I will discuss in the slide itself. This is the result we got in the motility assay. You can see that this is the control. This is the control. What we are doing, this is Petri plate. We are scratching some cancer cells from the plates, like any tips, we will scratch it. We will scratch it. So we can say that here there are cells, here there are cells, but this area is empty. Okay. and there is some width, we can say 0.2 mm or 0.6 mm. This is the width of the area which is scratched. And after that, we are keeping same petri plates for 24 hours incubation. So in control case, if there is no treatment, no drugs added, no herbal added, so we can see that this gap is again fulfilled. It means that the cancer cells growing as such, there is no issue with the growing of cancer cell, because this area is getting filled. Suppose it is 0.6 mm, now it remains only 0.2 mm. As for example, I am saying, suppose if it is 6 mm, now it is after 24 hours, it is only 2 mm. So what we can conclude that in the normal condition, the cells are growing perfect. In the another petri plate, what we are doing, we are treating with this, with the cancer, with the herbal extract. In herbal extract, we can see that even after 24 hours, the gap is as such. There is no decrease in the gap. It means this extract, the leaf extract, blocks the growing of the cancer cells. And in 250 microgram per ml also we can see, in 500 microgram per ml also we can see. Same thing we did with the, this is the bark, this is the bark of moringa, this is the seed of moringa. So just we'll assess the graph so that we can assess the result better. In control, 100% growth, no issue. In the leaf, we can see that if the dose is less, there is growth of cancer cell, but it is less than the control. In the 500 milligram, almost all cells died like that. Same is the case with the bark and the seeds. So this is the basically the motility assay we are doing. We are scratching out some cells and incubated for 24 hours. After the treatment, if the space remains the same, it means the herbs are working. If the space doesn't remain the same, it means the herbs are not working. Here we can see the herbs is not working very good because the space changes as compared to this, the space changes. It means we can say that seed, in case of seed, the herbs are not working as a good anti-cancer activity as compared to the leaf. So this is the first assay. The second assay is in vitro colonogenic assay. Just I will go quick. This is the control one, okay, in which if we incubated for 24 hours, we are seeing in which in this experiment, we are using a calculated number of cells. Suppose if we put uh, 10 to the power 3 number of cells, means suppose we put 1 million cells here, then in every plate we have to put 1 million cells. Suppose we put 10,000 cells, how we are calculating the Newborn chambers, you can calculate the number of cells. So in all the tests, we put a fixed number of cells. We can see here in control group, if there is no treatment, the cells usually growing and colony is forming. In the leaf extract, 250 milligram, the colony is forming but very less. In 500, this is the typo error, it should be the 500, it should be the 500 microgram. The colony formation is very less, or we can say that there is no colony because these all are dead cells. Same is the case with the bark, but the activity is less. In the seed, it is not working good. At least at 250, it is not working. So we can conclude this data that, okay, the leaf extract is working very well in the colonogenic assay as compared to the seed. So this is the two type of phenotypic changes that we are doing. Now we'll move on to the cellular changes. Cellular changing, as we told that, now we have to assess inside the cells. What is happening inside the cells? For this, we are using one instrument that is called Muse Cell Analyzer. This is an instrument, and this has some special chemicals. When it is mixed with that particular chemicals, they can say about the pattern of our cells. As we'll discuss in the examples, it will be easy. Like we are assessing the uh, apoptosis assay. As we all know that apoptosis is what? It is the programmed death of the cells. Okay, so we can say in the control group, this is the dead cell. Q1 is the dead cell, and this Q2 is the late apoptosis cell, and this Q3 is the Q4 is the early apoptosis cells, and this Q3 is the live cell. This is the live cells. So if through this instrument we can measure that how many cells are live, how many cells are in the late apoptotic phase, how many cells are in the early apoptosis phase, and how many cells has been dead. So this is very good instrument. We can analyze the things. Just we'll discuss the graph that what is the result. We concluded that in control group, the apoptotic cells, total apoptotic, early apoptotic and late apoptotic is very less. What does it mean? That if we are not treating with any herbs, there is no cell death, as we can conclude. If we are not treating with any herbs, there is no dead of the cell. But if we are treating with the herbs, like we use the leaf extract, then the total apoptotic cell increase. What does it mean? Means cells going to die. As we increase the concentration, the dying of cell is more. So it means that the extract, the leaf extract of moringa is killing the cells of the cancer cells. Okay, so this can be assessed by the apoptosis assay. Another assay is the cell survival assay. This is also very good example. How that instrument is doing. They are just comparing the live cells versus dead cells. Live cells versus dead cells. So we can see in the result that in the normal control, if we are not treating with any iron, the viable cells are 100%. Okay, there is we are comparing only viable cells. So we put it at 100%, and in the extract case we are saying that dead cells, viable cells start to decreasing and dead cells start to increasing. As we can see here, this is the dead cells area. Okay, this is the dead cells area. So dead cells start the increasing. It means that the cell survival of the cancerous cell is affected by the extract. The another thing which we can assess, this is also a good parameter we can assess, is that the cell cycle. We all know that there is a we can say, we studied in the 12th class that before the mitotic phase of any cell division, there are synthetic phase, there are G0 phase, then synthetic phase, then G2 phase, then the mitotic phase. What is happening in the mitotic phase, that the cell divides into the two cells. So what we are assessing here, we are assessing the DNA content profile, and we are assessing the G2 by M count. It means that if the G2 is more and M is less, means cells are going in the G2 phase, but it is not dividing. This is good for the normal. This is good for the cancer cell. If we can block the cancer cell at the G2 phase, and if it should not go in the mitotic phase, it means that the drugs are working very well. I don't know, even I'm trying to explain it good or not. Yeah, just again I will go in the simpler way. This is the control cell line. It has more G2 phase. It has some G2 phase cells, and it has some mitotic phase cells. In leaf extract, what we are seeing is that the cells in the G2 phase is more as compared to the control. It means that there is blockage, that the herbal sample try to stop the mitotic phase. So the numbers in the G2 phase is more, number of cells in the G2 phase is more. Same is the case with the bark extract. We can see that this is also working very well, that the cells in the G2 phase is more. So through this parameter, we can say that the herbs are acting, and where it is acting, it is blocking the G2 and M phase of the cell cycle. Means if even the cancer cell want to grow, but this herbal sample blocks it at the G2 phase, there will be no mitotic phase due to intervention of these particular herbs. So how to the one participant Danshari Shinde SY, how to check the anti-cancerity of herbs or natural compounds. I think we are discussing this all with the natural compounds only. This extract is basically the natural compounds. The moringa extract, as for example, we took. So we all are discussing about the same. So these are the two parameters which we discussed till now. Now the next is assessment of marker protein. The time is also running. We will not go in the detail. Actually, there is some markers. As we all know, that in molecular biology, there are some markers which either upregulated or downregulated in the case of the cancer cell. So basically, this is the Western blot analysis through which we can assess the marker protein and we can analyze the sample. So this was all about the anti-cancer screening of herbs. Just will recap one time so that it will be easy. What we discussed in the second part is that we took the herbs and plant and we prepared the extract and fractions and we screened for the anti-cancer activity using cell lines. Okay, and we screen three type of screening occur: phenotypic, cellular changes, molecular changes. In phenotypic changes, we discuss about the motility assay, that how the motility of cells can be blocked with the herbal sample. Clonogenic assay, in which we counted the colony formation. In the cellular changes, we discuss about apoptosis assay, cell viability assay, and the cell cycle assay. And in the molecular changes, we can assess the marker protein. So this was all about the second part. If you can go for more detail, we have some, this is my paper which was published in PLOS. This is one paper. This is the data of the current 2020 data published in the Financial Express, how the condition of Indians are there, and also so many things. If you need more bibliography or any books or related literature, I'm always welcome to share it. And just finally, we'll conclude all this session with this take-home message. We all know that cancer is one of the leading cause of the death and concern in the world population. So it is the duty and responsibility of all the scientists, especially from the herbal scientists, to make some alternative approach to treat the cancer. And of course, people are doing that, and we have a very long way to go. But okay, we'll try to make some alternative for the treating the cancer. And also, it was proved, and so many medicine which we are using also, that herbal treatment can be a good alternative, and herbal medicine open a new vista for anti-cancer research. So this was all about my lecture, and I hope you enjoyed. So I think I will give the mic to moderator, and they will continue.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very nice and informative session. So I hope our students learned so many things.
I am stopping the sharing of a screen, so we
Okay.
can talk it. Okay.
So in today's talk, our student might have gained so many information, so many knowledge. Definitely, they might have learned about how exactly we are going to prepare, how exactly we are going to assess the anti-cancer potential of the herbs, how herbs are beneficial, even though They are studying in the theory regarding the reactive oxygen species, as well as several, as well as some anti-cancer. Even in the third year, they come to know about various herbs as anti-cancer agents. So definitely this practical approach regarding the assessment of the anti-cancer activity means give them some spoon of knowledge, definitely. So I'm very much thankful to you, as well as to our beloved principal sir, that he had given chance to arrange us such a nice meeting. So here I would like to share.
Dr. Kapoli, uh, hello.
Yes, sir. Principal
I
sir.
have I have one question to. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, we will take the question answer. Okay.
I have one question
Yes, yes.
to Dr. Tanvir.
Yes, sir.
Among the various phytochemical classes, which compounds are giving the more or the good anti-cancer activities, and what the underlying rationale about this?
Okay, thank you, Principal Sir, for your nice question. And as we are working on this anti-cancer medicine since 5, 6 years, so what is my way of doing the starting with the result is that we are doing 2, 3 stages before going to research. As we are working here in the Saudi Arabia, first we are selecting the medicinal plant which is used traditionally in the local people. Number one thing. And second thing, we are using the only the plants which has any the anti-cancer or anti-inflammatory or any type of reported literature that we are using. And as your question is that which type of plant is very much used, I think the plant which is having good anti-inflammatory activity and good immunomodulating activity, they are comparatively working good for the anti-cancer also. This is my little knowledge that I know, and usually we are picking this type of plants.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Tamboi sir, Mr. Kapil want to ask one question, so that you just unmute the mic. So student must ask the question directly, sir. Please.
I just means I forgot that. Okay. Even the students can ask the question in the chat box.
Very,
And
very quickly,
somebody
I
is
will,
somebody
I will say that I am seeing the chat of all the students and faculty members.
Okay,
So if you can
Kapil's mic
ask the
is
question in the chat
unmuted.
box.
You can ask question directly. Kapil Gole, please ask your question.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good afternoon.
Sir, I have one question. In your lecture, you have told that you have give information about various assays used to determine the cancer anti-cancer activity, such as motility, chlorogenic, apoptosis, cell viability, etc. So you told that this assay we are using for natural ingredients. So can we use for synthetic anti-cancer drug
Yeah,
this
this,
assay?
yes, I understand your question that you want to ask that can the same technique can be used for the synthetic drug?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, is this your question? Okay. So answer is that you can use this technique for any type of drug, whether it is natural, synthetic, semi-synthetic. Even the formulation in my lab, people are using it for formulation. Suppose you make any nano emulsion or you make anything you can make, you use the same technique. Only one thing that you will face it, how to dissolve the samples in the culture media, because culture media is usually watery form, it is aqueous form. So sometime you can use the DMSO is good if you are using with the oil sample, and they have certain limits, you cannot use more than that. But if the your solubility issue solved, you can use any sample, there is no issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Anybody else want to ask question?
While in chat box, people are using which part of Vinca is used for anti-cancer activity. Of course, vincristine and vinblastine are there. You can read in the book
Yes, sir.
used for anti-cancer.
Afrin,
Uh,
another want to ask question. Afrin, you can carry on.
Good afternoon, sir. As we know that the cancer is mostly detected in last stage, that is second stage, third stage. So can we use the herbal medicine in case of malignant cancer in last stage instead of chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or immunotherapy?
okay. So the question for is that can we use the herbal plant in the last stages of cancer? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, in the sense, in many countries, people are using this herbal medicine as an alternative, or you can say the adjuvant therapy. What does it mean? It means that okay, they have to go with the usual cancer treatment modern day, but in addition to that, they can use the herbal medicine. What they do, this herbal medicine is acting for the cancer related other problems. Like for cancer patient, there is anxiety. For cancer patient, there is some side effects due to the radiation, some side effects due to the the other therapy. So for this, people are using for herbal medicine. The other part, the answer is no, in the sense that only herbal medicine cannot be used in the last stages of the cancer. Because still we are working, we don't have any means good clinical trial data that okay, this particular medicine directly killing the cancer. So still we are working on that, and then maybe in the future we can do. I hope I answer your question.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Anybody else want to ask question?
Okay, the in the chat box I can see that is that acupuncture therapy used in the cancer treatment. As I know that acupuncture can be used as adjuvant therapy, as I discussed, not the main therapy for the cancer treatment. This was question from Monica.
Sort of. Monica Bangaras, which part of the Vinca is used in a cancer therapy? Almost every part of the Vinca is used in cancer therapy. Means vincristine and vinblastine is present in the whole plant, so we can extract it from any part of the plant. On behalf of a speaker, I would like to ask that. I would like to answer that question.
Hello, Tamboy sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Tanvir sir, I want to ask one question. This is Rajesh Jagtap, Professor Rajesh Jagtap, working as academic in charge in our college. So very nice presentation in very simple language for our students.
Yeah, thank you.
And I want to ask one different question, sir. This question is not related to the anti-cancer activity of herbal drug and all. So just I want to ask one question from student behalf. If our students completed BPharm or MPharm over here in India, what are the various job opportunity as a career perspective over there in the Gulf countries, sir? And what are the various hurdles student may face, and how we can overcome that hurdles? If any student want to do their career at Gulf countries, so could you please have some your experience with us?
Okay. So before answering the question, I hope Dr. Yunus that we have the time. We can go because we are already. I am free, no problem. But
Yes,
can we go ahead for another 5 to 10 minutes?
yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Uh, your question is means the general question, and it is not apart from the topic, but we
Yes,
can
sir.
say that it is the main topic. we, yeah, which we will try to answer it. Uh, my answer will vary maybe after 1 or 2 months, but as the condition now is that the Gulf countries people they have some, the national plan. They have some national plan. They want to include the means you can say that in the pharma level or master's level, it is very tough to get entry nowadays at bachelor level or the master level. But of course, after doing some PhD, you can have the opportunity here. And even I will suggest that if you have a, the good fundamentals, the basic knowledge, and if you have a good practical knowledge, the experimental knowledge, then you can enter in any lab, not only in the Gulf countries, but around the world, because this is nowadays global village are there. If we are doing something, if we are doing some research, so it's not inside my lab. People are seeing my research paper. People are seeing my citations. So accordingly, I will suggest that if we have a, the good experimental skill, then we can enter. Especially for the Gulf country, if you are asking for bachelor courses, now it is getting, frankly speaking, tougher and tougher in the. Hope I try to answer your
Yes, sir. Yeah.
question, and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
for detail
Just I
you
asked this question on from behalf of students, sir. So some students may be willing to go for their
can,
career at Gulf countries. That's why.
yes. So sir, you can also chat on this topic in the private room. No issue. I will try to share my presentation, also my contact detail also, that we means go further for the chat also.
Even though nowadays Gulf countries are also they are promoting their people, so the entry of the foreign national people is becoming a little bit difficult into the Gulf countries also. So as we are having the Swadeshi movement, so they are also having their own countries movement. So they are also promoting their own people only. So it is little bit difficult. I know that part. He haven't told. Maybe just not to discourage our student, but no problem. We can, if you are having caliber, if you are having skill, then definitely you can get placed at anywhere in the world, as he had said.
There is one question from Deepa Yadav. Is the nutraceutical better than the allopathic? Then is one other question from Salma Tar. Sir, in first stage of my lecture, this treatment is more effective, chemo, radiation, and chemotherapy is more painful for remove this pain. Which treatment medicine are given? Okay, so the question of Deepa Yadav is the nutraceuticals are better. Actually, we cannot say it better or worst. It all depends on the situation. And I think the nutraceuticals is good for the prophylactic. If we have a very good health plan, if we have a very good diet plan, and if we have a very good our lifestyle, then might we have so immune that we will not get the cancer. So in
Yes.
that case, we can say that nutraceuticals are the best. We need not to take the allopathic medicine. For Salma Attar, okay, she want to ask that which is more effective, whether chemo, radiation, or the surgical removal. Actually, as for my experience, that according to the cancer, the current status of cancer, not only one doctor, there is the team of 4 or 5 doctors who sit together with one by one case, and they decide. And in early stage, the surgical is the best, we can say. But if it is the situation is complex, then they are following their own protocol. Maybe surgical plus chemo, maybe surgical plus radiation, maybe chemo and radiation, and maybe not treatable. So I think clinician can decide not for a general, but for a specific patient. I hope I answered your question.
Okay. So
Okay, you all are welcome.
okay. So I think there is no more question from the students. So, Jagtap sir, we can conclude. Okay, with the due permission of principal sir. So I would like to hand over the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Tanveer Athar.
Okay, thank you, college, Jagdap sir, Sajani sir, Jadab sir, Kanai sir, and Dr. Tamboli, and all the team of your college for giving me the opportunity to be with you all. And really, I enjoyed much, and I will see in the next also, in the future also, we'll try to share some good information among us.
Thank you very much, sir. So, with the due